All right, fam. So listen, today we're going to talk about United Healthcare. That's right. We saw it made an explosive move to the upside. And I know a lot of traders about to try to run and catch that trade, right? So we're going to do this. We're going to talk about where you can get in this trade at. We're going to talk about where you should leave it alone at. We're going to also talk about what's the highest probability for you making a successful trade using United Healthcare. Listen, I get it. I understand it. As new investors, one of the things that you do is the fear of missing out. It's a new trade is you don't want to miss out. You want to be a part of this trade while it's running. And you're not wrong for that. But there's a big thing called trade placement. And trade placement is important because it talks about where do you get in the trade at. And so today, that's what I want to do, man. I want to walk this play down for y'all. We're going to look at United Healthcare stock. We're going to look at a couple of different time frames to make sure everything is lining up. And if we can do that, we can say, hey, let's make a play. And if we can't do that, we'll say, hey, let's sit on the side. So before we get into that, man, I want you to like, I want you to subscribe. If there's any questions about what we got going on, man, definitely tell me in the chat. A lot of y'all been saying trap, bro. I've been loving the technical videos. They help me understand the game a little bit more. I appreciate y'all for saying trap. Like, we just love the way that you teach it, bro. So I just want y'all to know, man, that truly means a lot to myself and it means a lot to my team because a lot really goes into us putting these videos together for y'all. So before we get into it, man, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and just make sure that you share this out to somebody, man. All right, let's get into it, man. Let's go. All right, so today we're going to look at the United Healthcare stock. We're going to talk about a couple things on this chart. And we'll do a couple of things with it. But before we get into it, I do want to say something that I think is really important for all investors to look at, to realize something. Because if you don't understand these things, it will truly, 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 truly hurt you. When it comes to technical analysis is watching institutions leave footprints on the chart. The chart becomes the DNA of any stock, right? So when we look at the DNA of every stock, this chart tells us what the stock has done in the past. And one of the things is based on the past and the present, we can get an idea of what we want to see happen and not what will happen. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of traders make in the game is you try to impose your will on the market. You get mad when the market doesn't do what you want to do, when really and truly what we should be doing is just saying whatever the market does, I'm going to adjust to it, right? So what I'm going to do on this chart right quick is give you all 3 ideas, right? And I'm going to draw something out for a second before we even get into this. So the market goes 3 ways, right? The market goes up, the market goes down. Now, here's what I want you to understand. When the market is going up, we want to be in that. When the market is going down, we want to be in that because we can play the downside. But we do know that, and I'm going to start saying this repetitively because I need anybody who watches my video moving forward to understand. In order for an uptrend to be taking place, we need to see a series of higher highs, meaning, and I'm going to draw this on the board on this here so you can see it. And so when people start getting mad at me, I don't care about you getting mad at me. I just need it to happen. So if we're looking at a higher high, and I'm going to just use this screen for a second. Right here, we see a low. I'm going to mark this out. We see a low, and then we see a lower high. But in order to have a lower high, you got to have a higher high. And then here, we see another lower high. Now, in order for those things to be valid, what we also understand is that in order for the market to have a lower high becomes the step. So I'm going to draw it out. So this is a low, right? Then it goes like this. It looks like a step up. Or if you look in the market terms, it goes like this. So at this point, you know that every higher low, which is here, 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 and here, the higher highs here, 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 and here are standing on those lows. And the same thing goes for the lows on the other side. So in order for the market to have those higher highs and higher lows, then we understand that that then consists of a what, y'all? Right? And if we understand what uptrends are, then we can just look at it. From the other side, in order to have lows, we know we'll see this. In order for we see a downtrend on the other side, we'll see this. And here we go. You see a lower low, a lower low, a lower low, a lower low, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then we knew that the market. But let's do it in real time, right? Let's do it in real time. so that we can see it in real time so we can know what's happening. All right, so we're looking at this play right here. Here's what I want us to look at. All right, if you're looking at this play right here, here's what you have. You have a high. Gap down gives us a what? Higher low. I mean a lower high. And then right here, you have another what? And then you have a gap down here. And then you have this right here, which gives us a low. This is the gap up. Before the gap up, you have another what? Right here, you have a what? Lower. So you know for a fact, once you saw these highs, once you saw these lower highs taking place, you have this high, then you have this gap down, which is a lower high. And then you notice something with this gap down. This gap down right here off the line we just actually broke a high here. So that means this right here is what we would call selling pressure. That tells us that the sellers have applied a lot of pressure. Now, then we see the other series of lower highs taking place, which is here. And then you see another gap down, which means there's more what? Selling. Here's the thing about that. At no point do we see the buyers putting up a fight. And this is on a daily. But if we go to the 4-hour, the buyers never come in and take complete control to say, hey, we want to put up a fight. It is seller dominant. So what we need to be doing, even here, and then it goes down to this low here. What we need to be doing as traders is saying, we don't need to be putting calls in when we see sellers are dominant in a company, right? When selling pressure is dominant, we don't need to be trying to put calls in. You don't need to be trying to do what? Catch the bottom. That's not what we've been at. But also, if you go here, I want to show you something. If you notice, you still do not see buyers actually stepping in to take control, even if we blew it up a little. You know why? Because the sellers are in full control. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the monthly. All right, so far for the monthly, what do we see? We see that, let's just open it up so you can see it really, really good. So we see these two open up almost at the same spot, but we also, remember, this is a green candle, so it opens here. This is a red candle, so it closed here. So it opened in the month of August, almost where it went at in July. You saw it came down, but as of right now, you see it is still inside of this. So it's still inside of that, not by much, but it's still inside of that. So one of the things that you want to see on this UnitedHealth play just to get started is on the monthly. It'll be a really good sign if you can start to see this green candle overtake this, right? If we can start to see that, then that will be good. But this green candle is definitely in a good place. It's definitely in a good position. It's showing us that there's a lot of buying pressure in. There's some buying pressure in. Buyers are in the building, right? They not slipping, right? So we want to see them. We want to see that, right? And I'm okay with that. All right, let's go to the weekly. We have a green candle here, small body green candle. And then we have a larger body green candle right here that has now overtaking selling pressure. So now this candle, if we look at it, is above these. So now this candle is in this range, right? So we like that, right? So that's on a week. But now in this current week, we see that it opened high. We see it open previous to last week's, but also it's still on top of last week. So that's good, right? We're not mad at that. It's early in the week, so we're not mad at that. But I would typically want to see is this week here, you would want to see above that doji. And why you would want to see that is that would tell us that is consistent buying pressure, right? This week, you will want to see another green candle step in and say, hey, this is consistent buying pressure. Now, let's talk about something. So if we can get UnitedHealthcare to get us about 24, what that would do is that would push us up right above this high. You don't get it all back at once, y'all. That will put us right above that, right? We don't get it all back at once, but that 326.82 is at 310.70 right now, right? I'm sorry. Current price is 310.20. 310.20. So if we can get it above 326.82, that will put us in right position. But let's go see how that looks up on a day. All right, here we go. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes. So if we go over, boom. Why is that important, Trap? 326.82. What does that put us at? That put us right above the last high. Now, this is what I want to tell you. So the one thing we're going to notice right here is the why I like to use these horizontal lines is because they tell us actually what we need price to be. And so now this tells us if we can get UnitedHealthcare above 326.82, here's what has done happened. It is now taken over the last time buyers was in control and it got pushed down by sellers. So if we get on top of that, coming from here, now watch this. Watch what I'm about to mark out for y'all. This is a low. This becomes a lower. This gap up becomes a high. If it can get above that. Now, let me tell you what's dope about that. In most cases, because we see that, what it can do is hit this line and come back down. Now, it's a good chance to come back down and get some of these orders right here because there's some orders that happen, right? So when you see a gap like that, think about a house getting skipped over that had a stash. Well, it's a 77% chance that the market is going to go back and get those orders out. It's a must because the market likes money. So what I think we'll see happen is just on the daily, I think we'll see this candle right here come down and test some of these orders. Why? Simply because there's orders that a market don't want to run off too far without those orders. So I'm thinking we probably can get a pop here. It'll come down. A good time for us to get down is if it comes in here and then retraces back up here. I think that'll be a good opportunity for us, but only if it closes on top of the 326. But let's go into this right quick because this is going to be important for trappers too. So here's what we do know. We know that Warren Buffett and Michael Burry had been buying stock right up in here. Why? If we go back to this right here, what we do know is, for a fact, this is a 2019 low right here. All right, so what we do know is, for a fact, this right here, well, Warren Buffett and Michael Burry were buying at, this was I'm sorry, this. And then what happened was it got up under that low, served, and then bounced on top of it. Now, here's the dope part. We found out that Warren Buffett and Michael Burry were buying a bunch of UnitedHealthcare stock. Why? Because they buy undervalued stocks. Right? But if we look in today, the stock is actually having a doji. So that means the company is indecisive, is taking a rest. Now, you may feel like you missed out on this move. I personally don't think you missed out on the move. And the reason why I don't think you don't missed out on the move because it has an all-time high. So what I would want to see that do is hop on top of this. If it can hop on top of that, we good. Now, if it goes all the way on top of here, we know to get some resistance. But let's go on a 4 hour and see because the 4 hour actually helps us out a lot. All right, and there we go. So we see that on a 4 hour. Now, don't be mindful. I want you to look at something here. I want you to look at something right here that's going to be important for you to see. What I want you to see is if we sitting on top of here, now this is the 4 hour chart. We like that gap up. See how you always go right back to it with these lines, right? So we can see it hop on top of there. I like that, right? I like that. And then you'll get back into this area where you see that there's a gap. Now remember, nothing don't go straight up. Nothing goes straight up, but you know it's going to have to come up in here and snatch some of these orders. So now what you want to see is what is the selling pressure or what's the buying pressure? So if you're in UNH, if you're looking at UNH, in my mind, you want to see what it does at 326. I know you might feel like, Trap, man, that's $16. Don't look at it like that. Let the market tell you. What is it telling you? A low right here, right? Then you create a higher high, create another high, and you create another high. Then you want it to get right there. So then you will have a series of higher highs and lower highs. So that means, higher lows. You have a series of higher highs and a series of higher lows. And that's telling you that the market is in the uptrend. So once you understand that the market is in the uptrend, then you will make that with this. You will see, are the buyers taking control in the monthly? Are the buyers taking control in the weekly? Are the buyers taking control on the daily? Are the buyers taking control on the 4 hour? Are the buyers taking control on the 1 hour? And if you can see that, then you can understand then the market is currently in that uptrend. And once the market tells us it's in that uptrend, we don't have to debate that. And so one of the things that I will want us to look at is to pay attention to that, to see that, right? So I will wait for it. We can retest, right? I will see if we can retest this 300 area. So we can bounce here, come back and maybe get a retest at the 300 area, right? We currently here. I want to see if we can get that retest. I want to see if we can, if we currently here at price here. I want to see what we going to do. Are we going to come back down to 304, 300? That may be a case. You know why that may be a case? Because it's bouncing up. So we're going to see if it comes up here or does it come back down here to maybe what this is right here. Yep, right on top of there. Okay, so let's put another horizontal line on top of it because we ain't got to guess. And let's put a color on it so we can see it, right? So look at that. That sits right on that. So I would say 303. What does we do? If it comes down to 303.89, if it comes down to that, does it bounce off that and come back up? We want to see that. Or does it come down past that and come all the way back into that gap? That's going to be important for us as traders to pay attention to. So now if you're looking at UNH, you look at it and say, hey, does UNH come back down to 303? Does it get support at 303? Because you see where it's hitting. One, you saw it rejected it here. It stood up on there, rejected there, went down, it came back. And so does it sit on 303.89? What happens? So does it do this? Let's look at something. I'm just walking this slow so we can see. Does it do this and then come back up here? Or does it do this, come catch something down here and come, like we want to see what it does, right? So that's it. So does it come to 303? Or does it hit the 180, 123, 26? When it hits 326, does it bounce down to about that 3 or something again and come back up? We always want to see that. Nothing is going to go straight up. Remember, and here's how you know it's not going to go straight. And I hope y'all truly understand what we talking about right here, man. I'm just walking y'all through this. Right, here's how we know nothing don't go straight. Even off of this strong up move, right? Think about this strong up move right here. And then from here to here, we really got small body camps, which means the buyers weren't exuberant after that, but also the sellers aren't really exuberant after, right? Because remember, there's still a lot of news out about UNH. The thing that moved it was because Warren Buffett and Michael Burry bought millions of dollars and billions of dollars of shit. That moved the stock, but we can still see that these two next candles aren't large body candles. They're small body candles. So that tells us there's no big follow through after that. There's not a lot of follow through after that from buyers or sellers, even the next day after the pull, right? After the gap up, that wasn't a large candle. And let's look at it on the 4 hour. Look, after that large run up, after the large run up from here to here, look. So that tells us that we shouldn't just be, oh, it's about to run up and go crazy, because we're not seeing a lot of buying pressure isn't just in there right now. Right? A lot of buying pressure just isn't sitting in there. Also, after the gap up, look right here, and we can look at it. You can look at it how we want to look at it, right? It's not a lot of like huge candles just sitting in there, right? So even after the gap up, look what we see. I want you to show you this. I want you to pay attention to it. You still don't have a lot of movement, right? You go from 295 to 315. That's not bad. I mean, you get from 300 to 316. You're currently at 310. Right? But that's not a big move anywhere if you're looking on the hourly chart, right? The gap up is what got us that it did. This is typically private. This is what Warren Buffett is buying at right here, right? You see now see this? You can see this, right? You can see this. So you have a base right here. You go up. You got a base. You come down. You go up. Gap up. Base, right? Go up. Base, up. Base, up, right? That's how you can tell that move. So you have 3 periods in the market. You're going to have the uptrend, accumulation, or consolidation. So you have an uptrend, consolidation, right? Uptrend or uptrend, consolidation. What you don't want to be is inside of the consolidation. That's the part where you want to step back and say, let me see what the market is going. And because we consistently creating a higher set of highs, if you already in the play like that, it's going, you know what I'm saying? But if it drops down, you say, hey, is it creating a set of lower lows? If it goes to create 1, 2 or more lower lows, you need to get out of there. Like if it's creating another higher low, you need to get out of there, right? If it's creating a lower high, right? A higher low or a higher high. So always remember that in your head. An uptrend is higher highs keep getting created, which is lower high. So the lower high comes first and then the higher high. A downtrend, you understand that there's lower highs from here and then lower lows. Consolidation is going. So if we can understand that and we can see, then we can move. So I'll typically say, and I'll go back to it before I end this video. I just want y'all to see it. I want to talk to y'all through. If we can get UnitedHealth, or if it comes down, right, I want you to hold. There's going to be your access to the UnitedHealth. 326 is what we're looking to go at for some type of resistance to take place. And we want to see if it comes back down 303, which puts us right on out. So If it comes back to 303, does it bounce here and come up? We want to see that. We like that because that'll give us what we need. We want to see it close on top of that 326, right? Or does it come up 326, then come back down and go up? We want to see those. Those can be another scenario. We also want to make sure. So if I'm looking at UnitedHealthcare to getting UnitedHealthcare, I personally want to wait till it gets on top of 326 with a closed green candle. That green candle, and it opens up higher than that previous. I know that we are now on the uptrend. I'm not worried about missing out because it happened. So I don't want you to feel like you missed out on UnitedHealthcare because you didn't catch that. It's your boy, the Wall Street Trapper, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you share this, man. And tell us in the comment how we can help y'all more on y'all journey. It's your boy, the Wall Street Trapper. Salute.